What if tomorrow the world goes silent? No internet, no TV, no governments, no cities, just darkness. In that moment, most people believe humanity would fall into chaos. Leaders would vanish, command centers would be destroyed, and civilization would lose its mind. But what if I told you that the world is already prepared for this moment? Hidden from public view, there exists an aircraft designed not for travel, but for survival. A plane built to remain alive when the ground below is burning. A flying command center that can replace an entire government. This is not fiction. It is not a conspiracy. It is real. This aircraft can control armies, launch nuclear weapons, and communicate with submarines hidden deep in the oceans, even if every city on Earth is destroyed. It is known as the Doomsday Plane, and today on GeoLens, you will uncover how this secret aircraft is designed to control the world after nuclear war begins. Stay with me till the end, because what you are about to learn changes how you see power itself. Point 1. Why the world needed a flying government. During the Cold War, superpowers faced a terrifying truth. A nuclear war would not begin by destroying cities, it would begin by killing leadership. The first targets would be presidents, prime ministers, war rooms, communication hubs, military headquarters, because in modern war, control is everything. A nation without leaders cannot respond. A military without orders collapses. A government without communication is already dead. So the United States asked a radical question. What happens if Washington is gone in 5 minutes? What happens if the president is killed? What happens if the Pentagon becomes rubble? Who gives the order to respond? Out of this fear was born a secret doctrine: continuity of government. The idea was simple but chilling. Even if the entire nation is destroyed, the government must survive. Not in bunkers, not underground, but in the sky. The sky cannot be occupied. The sky cannot be surrounded. The sky cannot be conquered. So engineers created an aircraft that could replace the White House, the Pentagon, and the entire command structure in one flying machine. This was not a normal plane. It was built to survive electromagnetic pulses, operate without ground infrastructure, stay airborne for days, communicate with every military unit on Earth, command nuclear forces. This aircraft became the E-4B Nightwatch. Its mission is not war. Its mission is survival of command. When nuclear missiles fly, chaos spreads faster than fire. Cities burn, satellites fall, communication dies. In that moment, whoever still has a voice controls what remains. The Doomsday Plane exists for one reason: to ensure that even in the apocalypse, power does not disappear. It simply moves to the sky. And that single idea has changed how modern war is designed forever. Point 2. Inside the Doomsday Plane, a war room in the sky. From the outside, the Doomsday Plane looks almost ordinary. It resembles a large Boeing 747, white body, long wings, quiet presence in the sky. But inside, it is nothing like a commercial aircraft. The E-4B Nightwatch is not designed for comfort. It is designed for command. Every inch of this plane is built for one purpose: to replace an entire nation's leadership in the middle of catastrophe. Inside, there are multiple decks filled with secure briefing rooms, strategy halls, communication centers, technical control zones, rest areas for top officials, emergency medical units. More than 100 military and government leaders can operate inside it at once. This aircraft carries over 60 antennas and satellite systems, allowing it to communicate with nuclear submarines hiding in the oceans, missile silos buried underground, bomber fleets in the air, allied governments across the world. Even if every satellite is attacked, even if global networks collapse, this plane can still speak. Its systems are hardened against EMP blasts, the invisible shockwaves that fry electronics after nuclear explosions. Normal planes would fall silent. This one stays alive. The windows are shielded, the wiring is reinforced, the equipment is isolated. It can refuel mid-air, allowing it to remain in the sky for days. In theory, it can stay airborne indefinitely as long as another aircraft can refuel it. This means something terrifying. Even if the ground becomes uninhabitable, even if cities are erased, even if borders lose meaning, the chain of command continues. Inside this flying fortress, leaders can monitor global military movements, issue nuclear orders, coordinate surviving forces, communicate with hidden units, decide the fate of what remains. It is a government without land, a capital without a city, a nation without borders. When this aircraft is active, power no longer belongs to geography, it belongs to altitude. The Doomsday Plane proves that in modern geopolitics, power does not need buildings, it only needs a signal. And in the silence after nuclear war, the loudest voice in the world will not come from the ground, it will come from the sky. Point 3. When it flies, the world holds its breath. The Doomsday Plane does not fly like normal aircraft. It does not follow routine schedules, it does not appear on public flight trackers, and it is never in the air without a reason. Every time the E-4B Nightwatch launches unexpectedly, military analysts across the world pay attention. Because when this plane rises, it means someone inside the system believes that the world may be approaching a point of no return. One of the most famous moments came on September 11, 2001, as the United States was under attack and no one knew what was coming next. The Doomsday Plane was launched. It carried senior officials and served as a flying command center while the nation feared more strikes, possibly nuclear. The public saw only smoke and chaos, but above the clouds, a hidden government was already operating. Since then, the aircraft has been deployed during periods of extreme global tension, major military alerts, classified threat situations never revealed to the public, times when intelligence suggested catastrophic risk. Its movement is never explained, but intelligence communities around the world watch it. Because the E-4B is not a response to war, it is a signal of fear. When it takes off, it suggests that a credible threat exists. Leadership may be at risk, ground command centers may not be safe, continuity of power is being activated. Other superpowers understood this message. Russia developed its own version, often called the Flying Kremlin. China is building similar airborne command systems. Nations that cannot afford such aircraft are now designing underground and mobile command units, because every modern power has learned the same lesson. The first battlefield of future war is not land, it is leadership, and leadership must survive. In the past, empires protected their capitals with walls. Today, walls are useless. Missiles cross continents in minutes, cyber weapons move at the speed of light, satellites can be blinded in seconds. So power has learned to move. It no longer waits behind stone or concrete. It lives in motion. When the Doomsday Plane flies, it is not just a military action, it is a message to the world. The system is preparing for the worst. And in modern geopolitics, the most important battles may begin silently, with a plane leaving the ground. Point 4. The first battlefield of the future. Information. Most people imagine future wars as explosions, tanks, and missiles. But modern strategists see something far more dangerous: They see a world where wars begin without a single bomb. The first strike of tomorrow's conflict will not target cities, it will target satellites, communication networks, power grids, internet infrastructure, command systems. Because a nation that cannot communicate is already defeated. In such a war, armies may still exist, weapons may still be intact, but without orders, everything becomes useless. This is why the Doomsday Plane is not just about nuclear war, it is about information survival. Even if GPS is destroyed, internet collapses, fiber networks are cut, ground stations are wiped out, this aircraft can still speak. It carries independent communication systems that bypass civilian networks. It can connect directly to submarines hiding thousands of kilometers away. It can reach missile silos buried under mountains. It can talk to bombers flying beyond radar range. In a world where digital darkness spreads, this plane becomes the last voice. Modern war is not about who has the biggest army. It is about who can still coordinate when everyone else is blind. This changes everything. It means that power is no longer tied to territory. It is tied to connectivity. A nation may lose its capital, lose its cities, lose its borders, but if it keeps command, it keeps influence. The Doomsday Plane represents a new idea of sovereignty, a state that exists without land. In the future, wars will not end when cities fall. They will end when command disappears. And this aircraft is built to make sure command never disappears. It floats above chaos, above borders, above destruction. While the world below struggles in silence, a small group in the sky can still see, speak, and decide. This is why every major power is now racing to build mobile command centers, space-based communication systems, underground war rooms, airborne governments. Because in the next great conflict, the side that controls information controls what remains of civilization. The Doomsday Plane is not a weapon, it is the mind of war. And in a future shaped by cyber strikes and orbital battles, the greatest power will belong not to those who destroy, but to those who can still think. Point 5. The Doomsday Plane and the Survival of Civilization. So far, we've seen that the Doomsday Plane is more than a plane. It is a mobile government, a war brain in the sky, and the last safeguard of humanity. But what does that mean for civilization itself? Imagine a nuclear war hitting major cities. Governments are destroyed, communications fail, chaos spreads. Most of the world believes that humanity would crumble, but the Doomsday Plane ensures one chilling reality. Civilization does not disappear with the ground. Inside the E-4B, the chain of command remains intact. Decisions continue, orders are given, military and rescue operations can still function. This plane is equipped to launch nuclear retaliation if needed, coordinate surviving armies and fleets, direct humanitarian efforts to save populations, communicate with allied nations secretly, serve as a floating hub for the remnants of government. It is essentially a government in the sky, capable of keeping global power alive when the ground is uninhabitable. Its existence raises profound questions. Who truly controls the world in a catastrophe? Could a small group in the sky dictate the survival of nations? How does this redefine power, leadership, and sovereignty? The Doomsday Plane proves that in the modern era, land is no longer power, cities are no longer capitals of authority, borders are irrelevant when the command survives elsewhere. Survival is no longer about soldiers or tanks, it's about communication, control, decision-making. When nuclear war or total collapse occurs, the last decision-makers may not even be on Earth's surface, they may be flying high above it. This flying fortress is humanity's ultimate insurance policy. It is a stark reminder that power today is mobile, hidden, and unstoppable. And while the world below may be falling apart, somewhere above, decisions will still be made, orders will still be given, civilization in some form will survive. The Doomsday Plane is not just a military secret, it is the future of global survival. The world we know is fragile. Governments, cities, and communications can vanish in minutes. But one secret aircraft ensures that even if the unimaginable happens, humanity's command survives. The E-4B Nightwatch, the Doomsday Plane, is not just a plane. It is a mobile government, a flying Pentagon, and the ultimate survival tool for civilization. It moves when the ground is no longer safe. It communicates when networks fail. It decides when the world is silent. In a nuclear war or global collapse, it becomes the brain of a world without borders, the last voice of order in a sky full of chaos. This is why modern power no longer relies solely on land, armies, or cities. It relies on continuity, mobility, and control. So the next time you hear of mysterious military flights or rising global tensions, remember, civilization may not end on the ground. It may continue to exist above us in the sky. This is GeoLens, where power, politics, and the future are revealed, and the world above may be just as important as the world below.